When approaching a store, restaurant, or chain, make the first approach by email. Most places will have websites that list contact information. Introduce yourself briefly and get right to the point. Say something along the lines of, I'm planning the tour for my first novel, Fallen Angels, and I have an idea that I think will benefit both of us. Then explain the mutual benefits. Talk about how you have a similar target audience. Mention that you are willing to handle the marketing and media outreach. Perhaps you'll even provide appetizers and drinks. Think of all the ways that such an event will help the store. Give them a projection of how many attendees they might expect. Close by thanking them for their time and telling them that you'd love to schedule a time for a chat to tell them more. If you don't hear back, follow up with a phone call a few days later. Once you begin to nail down your first tour spot or two, consider seeking a product sponsor. This doesn't mean they'll be giving you money, but lots of publicists for big companies have the ability to donate product samples if they think the target audience is a fit for them. So if you're writing a book geared toward women, for example, consider approaching, say, a liquor company, a wine company, a champagne company, a chocolate company, a cosmetics company, or other companies along those lines. If you're writing a business book, perhaps a company such as Staples, Office Depot, or Best Buy would be a fit. If you're writing about sports, what about beer companies or places that have pizza, wings, or other game time food to promote? Just like you did when you picked potential party locations, think about potential sponsors with the same target audience that your book has. A product sponsor will give you extra credibility and perks for your party guests. How do you come up with the best potential product sponsors? First, think of 5 separate product categories that fit with your book and your audience. For my women's fiction books, I might choose, for example, wine, vodka, cosmetics, coffee, and chocolates. Then, get on the internet or go to a store that's bound to have a wide assortment of products in the categories you've chosen. Go through the selections and try to find products named or positioned as similarly to your book as possible. For instance, for my last book tour, I approached Little Black Dress Wines because their target audience is clearly fashionable women. For my previous book, which was set in France, I approached a French champagne brand. Once you've narrowed down the list to 2 potential sponsors in each category, draft an email similarly to the one you sent out to potential locations. Tell them who you are, what you're looking for, and how it will help them. For example, you might suggest that a wine brand donate 15 bottles to each of your parties, and in return, you will use their logo on all of your promotion materials for the events. Don't forget to follow up by email or phone if you don't get a return email within a week. Once you begin nailing down party locations, it becomes easier to find a product sponsor. And once you find a product sponsor, it becomes easier to nail down party locations. Just keep working both angles, and with a little work and diligence, you'll suddenly begin to see things falling into place. Now we've come to the next step. How do you get the word out? Even if you're with a major publisher, or especially if you're not, it can really help to supplement your own efforts with the help of a professional publicist. A simple Google search will help you find publicists who specialize in book PR. But if you're on a budget, another option is to explore your own network of friends first. Do you have a friend who works in PR? Bear in mind, though, that it has to be someone who has the ability to reach out and follow up with media outlets across the country. If you're on a budget, consider suggesting a barter deal, where you'll write press releases or web copy for them in the future, in exchange for their help distributing your releases and following up on your behalf. Also, consider writing all of your own material, so that all you're asking the publicist for is a little bit of help. Of course, many of us don't have the budget to hire a publicist, so it's not essential. It can help, but you can also do your own PR. Or you can even hire a college journalism student at minimum wage to work a few hours a week for you. Oftentimes, college students are eager to get real-world experience and will do a fantastic job for you. Of course, if you're with a major publisher, your publisher there will be taking care of things like sending out your books to newspapers for review, sending out press releases about your book, and following up with traditional book reviewers. Once you have your tour set up, consider asking him or her to reach out on your behalf to tell the media about your parties. If you write the press release yourself and come up with TV, newspaper, and radio contacts in each market, publicists are usually happy to hit send from their email addresses. Your party press release carries more weight if it comes from the publisher, and contact info is usually easy for you to find by visiting the websites for your target media outlets. Finally, if you're working with a product sponsor, consider asking them to reach out on your behalf too. You're basically giving them another angle by which to pitch their products, so much of the time they're more than happy to help because it benefits them too. If you'll be pitching yourself to the media, though, there are a few things to keep in mind. First, your pitch should be short, 1 page or less, and very clear. It should explain who, what, where, why, and when. You're an author. This is the name of your book. You're coming through their city on tour. You're having an awesome party, and you'd love to have their viewers or their readers come by. This is the date and time, and you're available at these times for an interview. Give them all of this sort of information right up front. Producers and reporters get tons of pitches, though, so how do you make yours different? By giving them what they want. For TV pitches, this means an appealing angle plus visuals. You're an author, so your product, the book, isn't super exciting in a visual way. But what can you talk about that is? I got myself booked on Good Morning America, for example, to talk about my book set in France by offering to talk about how to incorporate the art of French romance into your daily life. This was my angle. For visuals, I suggested that I bring props, champagne, a cheese plate, accessories, and cosmetics. And I also suggested that they use video footage of couples strolling near the Eiffel Tower. I gave them an angle, and I let them visualize it, and bam, I was booked on a major national show. For radio, you need to give them something that their hosts can talk to you about, and also something that you'd be willing to accept listener calls about. For print, you need to give them either a how-to angle based on your book, or you need to come up with a local angle that would interest their readers. Don't ignore the web as a vehicle for book tour promotion either. You should already have a website, but if for some reason you don't, get one. Domain names are inexpensive, and you can either get a basic page for next to nothing, or you can find a web designer to build you a page. Use this page to advertise for your book tour, listing the dates, times, locations, and other pertinent details. Use Facebook and Twitter too, and reach out to bloggers to tell them about the details. Finally, don't forget to have a good time. Getting to go on a book tour is an amazing, fun, unique experience. It's like hosting parties all around the country to celebrate you. I made a mistake with my first 2 book tours. I got so stressed out about the details that I forgot to sit back and enjoy them. I've relaxed since then, and I'm glad. This is a time to celebrate you and the amazing accomplishment of having finished a book that people actually want to read. So have a blast. Congratulations, you are an author. So let's review what we've learned. First, if you have a major publisher, find out what their in-house publicist can do for you. Then, begin picking target cities based on both geography and your own budget. Think about choosing tour stops at places other than bookstores for maximum impact and outreach. Spend some time thinking about companies that might want to partner with you, and craft your pitches to local media carefully and in a way that tells them definitively that you'd be a great guest or profile subject. Think about what they want and try to meet their needs. And finally, most of all, have fun. You've earned it. For more great content and the best media job listings, visit MediaBistro.com. Thanks for listening.